Let me start by saying I really want Stop That Train to succeed at the box office. I think to have a drag queen-led movie at the box office at all is incredible. There was previously a movie from RuPaul, The Bitch Who Stole Christmas, which was very funny, and that was a basic cable movie, but that was great. And it's a similar team. So I really want to see this movie do well. Its opening weekend maybe wasn't quite high enough considering its budget, but things leg out over time, so that remains to be seen. What gives me pause, of course, is a couple controversies that are dogging the movie right now. And I've seen other people talking about this online, which made me want to say something about it. I think some of the controversy is pretty unwarranted, of course. Just having drag queens as leads is not a big deal, but there are people that are always going to be upset about that. But some of the casting and technical choices perhaps are more worthy of scrutiny. So let's start with first drag queens as leads, then move into some technical choices that have led to controversy around the use of AI, and finally some casting choices that haven't been received as well. Okay, so starting with having drag queen leads, we're just in a weird time, and maybe we've always been in that time, where people don't want to see drag queens in lead roles and are just up in arms because there are drag queens as lead who especially aren't acknowledging that they're drag queens. But having seen the movie, they're all fabulous, first of all. Ginger Minj and Jujubee as the leads are terrific. And then as the antagonistic girls, Brooklyn Heights, Simone, and Marsha are very funny. RuPaul absolutely steals the show. Very, very funny. We see why she's a pro. We see why she is one of, if not the queens of drag. And nobody really acknowledges that they're in drag, and I think that's part of the humor. The director is Adam Shankman, who also directed Hairspray, and obviously in that movie and that show, Edna Turnblad is always designed to be a drag queen, whether it's an actor in drag or a famous drag queen. So no, that's a big deal, frankly. And I guess the people who are happy to see people in drag will go, and the people who aren't won't. And that's just the way of the world sometimes. But then we get to a controversy where I see the issue a little more of AI. So it came out that certain VFX shots were used with AI. And the director said no, absolutely they were not. And then people saw the movie. I saw the movie. It was fairly apparent where AI was used. And then he said, okay, well, maybe there was. So I think lying is not usually the right move because the internet is very smart and swift and will catch you. And sure enough, they did. And so I don't know what directives he was following. Maybe the studio was pushing him not to say that AI was used, but AI was used. I think the early users of AI are going to get more flack, of course, but there's so many announcements on this Hollywood entertainment website called Deadline about AI partnerships, AI production companies. So it isn't going away, but knowing that, people weren't given jobs and AI was, and it didn't look good. I think that's what's frustrating too, is if it were seamless, it'd be one thing, but I believe this is one of the things plaguing Marvel movies now is they are rushing VFX editors and not giving them enough money, and the effects aren't looking as good. And audiences want to see good visuals even in a silly, campy movie. And then finally, casting that may be an issue. So Brian Jordan Alvarez is one of the leads of this movie. I have gotten a lot of criticism for talking about this before, but I'll just start with read the Vulture article start to finish. Everything I'm saying is taken from there. I'm not just conjecturing here. I am reading what is in public in the media. So Brian Jordan Alvarez had an issue on his show, The Gay and Wondrous Adventures of Caleb Gallo, where he'd hooked up with one of his co-stars once, and that co-star said that he felt coerced, that he wasn't comfortable, and then in particular when they were filming an intimate scene under a cover, that Brian actually put his mouth on this actor's area. And the lawyer of Brian Jordan Alvarez came out and said, well, he assumed that was okay being in a relationship. And let me say, as someone who's done and filmed scenes of an intimate nature for a comedy series, no, it doesn't matter if you're dating. You don't do that. You don't do that in front of a crew. That is absolutely wrong, and there is no excuse for it. And what frustrates me is when I talked about this last time, people were like, well, that's not true. And I'm like, read the article. Literally, he admits he did it. And it says, oh, I thought it was in a relationship. So it's unambiguous. It's wrong. Just think of it this way. If you don't think it's wrong, if you were at the middle of work and two coworkers who were dating started doing stuff in front of you, would that be okay? No, it wouldn't. So anyway, he was cast. And all I can say is that the screening I was at, the audience was icy when he was on. He was not well received. People did not laugh at any of his jokes because he's not a good representation of the community at this point. He's an admitted predator, and I kind of don't know why they chose him and are trying to, I don't know, bring him back. There are plenty of popular queer people who don't have that baggage, and I don't know. I don't know why we didn't give them jobs. So yeah, all this is to say, I definitely want the movie to succeed. I love seeing queer people succeed. I love seeing drag queens succeed. And the opening weekend of $3 million against a budget of $30 million, not the best, but also it could have been a lot worse. Maybe they'll expand the release. I think obviously people who are just against drag queens are always going to be against drag queens, whatever. People are not yet into the idea of AI. I can't pretend that I am. So, and I think the fact that it was like denied, then undenied, wasn't a particularly good look. And then including an actor like Brian Jordan Alvarez, who is not not how I think anyone appropriate would behave on a set, was a weird choice. So we'll see. Time will tell how this movie does. I'm curious what people thought if they saw it, and also if they perceive there to be other strengths of the movie or other issues that maybe will hold it back. But it's hard to get these types of movies made, and I would just say, as best producers can, don't make choices which obviously could lead to controversy. Not everything can be avoided. Sometimes things come out later. But yeah, if you can contain obvious problems, please do.